Hello everyone, my name is Florence. Today I want to share something that has been on my mind for months, for years now, probably. And it's about, why we can't change someone who doesn't even want to be changed. Okay, before we start, I know this is a common sense. I know everyone has a free will. Have we really ever thought about it? Why we can't change them? And also, I want you to note this. I'm not a native English speaker, and I will try my best to communicate. What I want to explain to you. And also, I'm filming this, outside my house, so there might be external noise, so please mind them. And okay, where do we start? I would just read this I wrote down on my journal. So why can't we change someone who doesn't want to be changed, and why do we even want them to change just because they are not the way we want them to be? And why do we even need to fix them in the first place? Alright, so to answer this question, we have to answer the question by asking the question. Should I say that? Why do we want to change them? Is it about control? Is it about our own ego, our expectation, or empathy? Even empathy can be like a misplaced one. Before we try to judge someone, we gotta remember that as many as we human have unique traits, we still have flaws. Alright. To change someone, we cannot control them. Okay. Alright. We can influence them. We can be the inspiration, but we cannot force them if that is not what they want. Maybe not yet. Maybe they don't want it at the time. Okay. And also, not every advice and opinion is good nor bad for us. This advice might be a good advice for one person, but it can be a bad one for another one. We have to take these advice and opinion according to our circumstances. Alright. And also, not every, some advice might come from a place of genuine love, or some might be from envy or misguided empathy. Okay, that's what I wrote it in my book. Can you see that? And also, this is a neat one, and this is the messy one. Right. Okay, where do I even start it? I would explain this, how I understand this, by telling you my experience, my life experience. How how I started. Alright, I'll go with the flow. Okay. Okay, I will read some first. Please give me time. Alright. So where do we start? We have to know that every human being are on their own journey. We can't force them to be awakened. How spiritual awakening work. We can't tell someone this this spiritual fact about to two people, and one might understand it but one might not. Everything like if everything is happening like according to their life, how can I explain that journey, it happened to me too, like even if I am on my spiritual journey, like I know about these things, but there are times that I couldn't understand that the same thing, like the way I am understanding this right now and how I understood it like years ago can be different, right? Okay, so we why can't we change someone who doesn't want to change? I say that someone who doesn't want to change. Some people don't like change. They resist the change, alright? And alright. You are the one giving the advice to someone. You're giving your opinion to someone, but that person doesn't want the advice. They are not ready to take the advice yet, and they wouldn't see the point you are telling them, alright? They wouldn't understand it at all. Even if they understand, they don't want to do it. They would find excuses to argue your perspective, right? Okay, like I will explain it hold on a second. Okay, so I will explain this with my own experience. There was one time, like probably years ago, when I was when I was 20, let's say, my brother, like I've been wanting to do the cover song and posting it on social media, like on YouTube, but I couldn't do it. I was like given so many excuses not to do it, and my brother told me, oh wait, no, it's not, doesn't start like that. Okay, so it started with like how my parents didn't support me with this career path, and I was like complaining, like I complaining about how they didn't send me to vocal classes, didn't buy me musical instrument, etc. And and then my brother told me that you don't need them. You don't even if they going against you, you have to show them that you can do it without their support, or without these having the taking the classes or play the instrument. You gotta show what you can do with what you have. And I know that, but I couldn't do it. I keep kept giving excuses. Oh no, I can't do it. I gotta have this perfect vocal, and because it was because I have this fixed version of me, how my the way I show up to the world. There was that certain image I want to show the world. It's not the same now. I'm kind. Okay, what do I want to say? I'm a little more mature now. I wasn't, but then I have the excuses. I have these things that not to start this journey, start the YouTube. I kept giving excuses. So, but why am I doing it now? it took me years to understand that I don't need those things to start my own journey, to start this YouTube channel. And it took me years, because I started this when I was on my 22 birthday. So it's almost a year now, and that's what I want to say is, like, you can't not change someone who doesn't want to change, because I don't want to change at all at the time. I have this fixed image that unless I became that person, I would never start doing this at all. That's what I want to say. I hope you understand that. What, even if, like, my brother keep telling me, I will give the same excuses. I will go in the cycle, like, denying that, I can't do this without these. And also, like, you don't need to prove anything to anyone, okay? My brother told me, like, you gotta show the parent that you can do this, so that they will support you. You don't need to, but this is what you want, so you gotta do it. All right. So, and also another one would be like, even if the person you're trying to change know what you're trying to say, even if they see it, but if your advice or opinion doesn't align with their goals and their moral, they wouldn't take it. They wouldn't stop doing what they're doing that you don't like. And I can give that perspective an example of my life story. All right. Like I've told you that my parents don't support this journey at all, and they don't know it also. So my mom would say, like, being a singer is a really big dream, and also that the community is very competitive, and also I know those, and also I have a hypothyroidism, and I understand that she was worried that it would worsen this. Okay, I'm on that medication, and I understand that she was worried about my health, and I know that too, but this is what I wanted, what my heart is yearning to be. And my father would say that the singer, my father would say that singing career won't make a lot of money if you're not famous or successful. And I know that too. I'm not making any money from this right now, but what I believe and what they want from me are not aligned, even though I understand their perspective. But I can't change for them. I can't change my goal, my dreams for them. I gotta do it for myself too, even though I love them. So that's what I want to say. You cannot change someone if what you're saying, what your advice are not aligning with their moral or perspective, or their goals. All right. And I want to like how I understand these. Those things happen like on autopilot. Like it's like some are autopilot, some are consciously did action